How do everyone? Welcome to TFI Card Dibs. Strange one today. I'm over on the Dell Precision area on the Dell website, Dell UK. Now, depending on which geography you're in, whether you're in Australia, the UK, the US, you'll see a different website. Fortunately, the Australians, you don't get the anywhere near as good of a configurator as we do over in the UK and the US, but it is what it is. So the Dell Precision Workstations are their card workstations or their media and entertainment workstations for professional workload. And at the moment they do more than three, but I've got three on screen here. We've got the 3000 series, the 5810, and the 7000 series. Now the 7000 series is the high-end Precision Workstation. Now that splits off into a rack and two towers. Now this one here is the 7910, the T7910 workstation. That is the highest grade of workstation or tower workstation that they do. You can build an absolute monster of a machine into the T7910, and I was doing that yesterday because I was looking at looking at some options, thinking about buying myself one, and something jumped out. They've updated the site recently and added a new option in which literally knocked my socks off, and I was like, I need to show this. This is phenomenal. So as well as many other things, let's just take a look at some of the options you've got in here for build, because these are absolute monsters. So we can do liquid cooling at the moment in the T7910. So you can put in a dual liquid cooled Xeon 18 core 2699V3 CPU. Now there's no information on what kind of liquid cooling that is, but the chances are it's going to be closed loop, sort of all-in-one liquid cooling solution. It's not going to be a high-end sort of open circuit system that you can drain yourself. It's probably something like the Corsair H100i, possibly something of that kind of style, just rebranded as Dell. So we're going to put in a dual liquid cooled Xeon, so in a total of 32 cores. That brings up to a £10,000 workstation, which at the moment is, in terms of US dollar roonies, is $14,000. That is just crazy. What else can we put in here? So graphics cards, you can put in some crazy graphics card configs into the T7910. That's just because of the chassis. So it's got a larger chassis, which in some configurations allows you to put quad graphics cards in there. I'm not entirely sure which applications will even support quad graphics cards. I'm not sure. But we've got dual SLI options. So the dual SLI M6000, so the Maxwell 6000 graphics card there. The price, snip, a bargain of £7,200. Or you can go into others, which I'm not entirely sure why they do this, but if you go into others, it gives you more options, which I think should just be included above. No idea why they do that. But we've got, dual FirePro W9100s, which will give you 32 gig of video card RAM, which is just crazy. So there's a lot of options here. But one of the most expensive options, not necessarily the best, but one of the most expensive options would be the dual K6000s, which adds 7,400 onto the price. It's a snip. So the chassis, we've got the T7910 chassis, which has a 1300 watt PSU in there. So the new option that they've added in here, which is just mind-blowing, is 1 terabyte of RAM is now an option. And if you look at the add to the price, the thing here adds £83,500 to the price of the workstation. 83,500. Wow. So in terms of dollars, that is adding $120,000 to the price of the workstation. Wow. That brings it to £102,000, which in total is $145,000. Now you can go crazy, you can go even higher, but I would suspect if you're going to be putting that option into this workstation, you don't care about the rest of the options. You're not going to really care. You're going to put in those dual 1.2 terabyte Intel 750 series NVMe solid state drives. You're going to do that because you don't care. You've got money to burn. You've got cash money, swag to flaunt all day, y'all. That's what you've got. So I would suspect if you've got that kind of money, you're going to be putting in the highest bracket, which I would suspect is probably this one here. Adds £4,000, 106,000, which brings that up to $150,000 worth of workstation. And then you can go crazy nuts with secondary hard drives. I think this chassis supports up to 4 or 5, maybe 6 secondary hard drives. So it must have around 6 hard drive bays, something like that. But yeah, you can go nuts with that. You can put in Blu-ray writers. You can put in extra PCI Express cards for serial ports and gigabit or 10 gigabit LAN. There's all kinds of stuff you can put in there. And so that's $150,000 with the workstation without going crazy with software or external monitors. That is purely the workstation itself. Absolutely nuts. Yes, there is a disclaimer at the top left saying memory greater than 512 gig is not available at this time, but the fact that 1 terabyte of RAM is an option for this PC suggests that it's going to be in production anytime soon. They've tested it. It's there on the website. It's in the configurator, ready to be selected. So it's going to be a thing sometime soon. But right this very second, I would suspect people are able to buy it. I would imagine. I've got no proof of that or no confirmation of that. But if you call up Dell, the fact that it's in the configurator, it suggests that it's a thing. It's an option. You can do it. But the auto configurator says, well, not quite yet. Possibly because of the size of the purchase, they'll want to put that through a sales agent or some kind of account manager. Possibly. I don't know. But there you go. There's a $150,000 workstation for you. Dual liquid-cooled 32-core Xeon with 1TB of RAM and dual Quadro K6000 graphic cards. Absolutely nuts. Or you could go for the option of saying don't put a graphics card in at all, and then you can maybe buy your own separate 980 Ti's or Titan X's, something like that. If you do that, it's again the Dell website's a bit strange. If you go for the option of having no graphics cards in, then you have to select Windows 7 or Windows 8 operating system for some reason. And Windows 7 and Windows 8, I believe, if I remember rightly, doesn't let you select the 1TB of RAM option. Yeah, you have exceeded the maximum memory for Windows 8.1. So it's a bit of a strange one. But it is what it is. But there you go, $150,000 workstation. Nuts. Dell's allowing you to do that. I wonder what kind of program will actually need 1TB of RAM on a workstation. We're not talking about servers here. High end, really high end with a lot of throughput SQL servers, then possibly, maybe government agency SQL servers that are processing public demand. I don't know. Maybe you need a terabyte of RAM, but what you could be possibly doing on a workstation that's going to need that much RAM, I haven't got a clue. I don't think there is. I genuinely don't think at the moment there is a need for a single workstation to have that much RAM, but perhaps this is just a glimpse into the future and the options that you're going to be able to buy for the next 10 years, perhaps, who knows. But there you go. All right, thanks. There's the news. Doodles.